So going into that, we're going to jump into more Star Trek talk. So we're going to talk about the new show that's jumped out there, Star Trek Prodigy. And so for a brief summary on that is Prodigy follows a group of teenagers who use an abandoned starship to search the universe. That's what I'm getting for you. And so let's go ahead and jump right into this for you, Jason, number A. What did you think of Star Trek Prodigy, the first episode?
First episode. All right. First, let me get this out of the way. Just my nitpicky thing is that a group of teenagers should not be able to operate a starship. That's
Correct.
It takes a whole crew of people to do this, and they got like 4 dudes and a little blob to operate this starship. So that's just me being nitpicky. But otherwise, I like this show. I like the art direction, the art style in this. It's very, very phenomenal to me. I enjoy the voice actors in this. The main character, I can't remember the kid's name, but the main character is the black kid from on the Block, which is shows I enjoyed. He has a future as a voice actor ahead of him, which that happens to all the best black actors is become voice actors. But yeah, this seems like it's going to be fun. It's definitely aimed at a younger audience, younger than me by far, but not as too young as this to be for preschoolers. This is kind of like a preteen to younger teen sort of show, but it's still a lot of fun. I don't really get what is happening, why they're stuck in that penal colony. Like, why would someone put children in a penal colony? But other than that, it looks like it's going to be a fun, rip-roaring adventure full of wacky hijinks, and somehow these 4 people are being able to run a prototype starship with Captain Janeway as their hollow captain, or whatever, which is great to see. Her back because there was only really one mention of her after Voyager ended, and that was in Star Trek Nemesis when she talks to John Luke. It's like, hey, you can't, you got to go to the neutral zone, John Luke, and she's an admiral before John Luke is. I'm like, come on, just because you navigated back,
he
to
he didn't want the job. He didn't want it.
John
he
Luke
wanted to stay in the commander.
Janeway.
Yeah,
Janeway's still awesome. Don't get me wrong, Janeway's still awesome, but John Luke should have definitely been an admiral before Janeway.
It definitely felt like some Janeway hate there. But go ahead, Jaron. What are your thoughts on Star Trek Prodigy?
That's not Janeway. I love Janeway.
Main antagonist and his robot crony and his daughter, I guess. The main guy and his daughter are giving me serious, like, last members of our race kind of vibes. He is trading for orphans to mine his shit because it's clear that I picked up from the show that he's looking for that ship. He knows about the Federation. Yes. Where they are, I'm not sure yet, because you've got a member of the Kazon Ogla, which are definitely from the Delta Quadrant, but you also have that the engineer guy that's played by the crazy dude from Invincible,
Jason Mizusaki or whatever his last name is.
Yeah, and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He is a Tellarite. So, I mean, that's Alpha Quadrant kid. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but he clearly wanted to mine this ship on the quiet and didn't want anybody else knowing it, hence using orphan labor to do it. He had his own little sweatshop going on. I was like, hey. I agree with the nitpicky bit. I don't understand how non-Federation people can get a ship up and going. They did make some show of them not doing it well initially, but they seem to acclimate relatively quickly. So I don't know if there's a standardized, I've seen people get into spaceships that are alien to them and kind of flick some buttons and be like, oh, okay, this is the up, this is the go. But when you see Star Trek,
I don't read Kardashian at all, but somehow I'm able to fly this Kardashian cruiser.
Right. But in Star Trek, they play those consoles like a piano to make the ship move even left. So I don't know how exactly these kids are doing it. At any rate, you only get to see a brief 2-sentence bit with Janeway, which I thought was a good choice because everybody that's a fan of the series already was coming to hear Kate Mulgrew and some new Janeway. And they were like, "Listen, we got to give this episode time." Well, it's technically episode 1 and 2, I think, in the description. But they had to give the new characters time to breathe and kind of like open it up before they introduced the familiar character, which I thought was a good call. If Janeway had been in it earlier, I think it would have taken away from anybody caring about these people or trying to learn more about them, at least initially. You kind of need them to have their own story for a moment. I'm excited to see where it goes. The prototype, the USS prototype, looks incredibly small by ship standards. I mean, when you saw the scale of them out on
to do it,
right. I think that's a good call on their part. Yeah, when they were fighting on the saucer section, you got a bit of a scale for what was going on, and it was like, oh, this is a very small ship, all things considered. So I like that. I love the visual look. It looks great. This is quality work. Man, I tell you what, if Star Wars could figure out how to bring this shit to their Rebels and Clone Wars, I would probably watch the hell out of those.
I knew it was coming.
I would watch the hell out of those shows if they could generate this level of quality for their shit. I'd be all about it. Tragic they can't, but here we are.
I'm excited. Why can't we just have a review and it doesn't include bashing the other one for the sake of bashing them? Like, I'll put it this way: Prodigy will hope to have the longevity that Clone Wars have. Let's just say that. Let's just put that out there. Prodigy, they would pray to have the longevity that Clone Wars have.
Any show would pray to have the longevity that Clone Wars have.
Yeah. So let's just throw that out there. But anyway, going to it, like I said, entry point was because I don't care about animation like Jaren does, and we knew even if the animation was tragic, he would have been like, "Oh, it's still better than Star Wars." So we know that, regardless of how bad it would have been. Anyway, no, Star Wars Prodigy is a prodigal entry point. Like, this is supposed to be for the parents like you all to get your kids to sit down and watch something Star Trek. For a guy who's not into Star Trek, it worked out great for me. The only issue at first, initially, I was like, who was this for? Because it wasn't overly kiddie at first. It was kind of dark. And then it lightened up, and I'm like, okay, I get it. This is the entry point for parents to get their kids to sit down and watch Star Trek without having to see the minutia and the Malaysia of all the other world building that usually goes into this. Understand? So you guys get your little, Easter eggs. The people who don't know what's going on, they get to still enjoy a good adventure with some mystery to make you want to tune in for future episodes. So even bringing in Janeway at that moment, for a person like me who knows of the character but doesn't know why she's important, that's a great way to end it, because now it's like, oh crap, who is this? Now it's going to, like, is she going to teach them how to run this ship? Is she going to teach them how to be better? Are they going to become fleet? Like, now we open up a whole new world for them. And also too, I think when it left off, it left at a spot where the exploration portion of this is going to be, I think, a heavy focus along with the storyline of the people escaping. So I did appreciate that the story for this one was very entry friendly. I didn't had to know what alien species people were to understand their mentalities or why they do what they do. It was just that these are the archetype characters, and I can see that they're going to build their personalities in future shows. Before the beginning, this is a great way to do that. The only critique I have on this one is just, again, like, you're going to have a hard time with the target audience here, because you're going to have to get into real Trekkie stuff, but you still are trying to market this to kids. So how they maneuver that writing-wise is going to be very, very interesting. And that's what actually has me more interested in watching the show, is because I really want to see how they're going to maneuver this writing-wise to keep this still kiddish, but because, I mean, Star Trek does have a lot of more adult tones to everything they've done. So where Star Trek, going with Jared, Star Trek has always been kiddie. It's light swords and wizards, like the epitome of kid stuff. Even when
Star Wars, you mean?
Yeah. So
Star Wars,
yeah. So it's always been kiddie. So at this point, seeing what they do with this, I'm all here for it. I have nothing really bad to say about it. It's just I'm interested to see how it goes forward from this pilot. So,
also, can we talk about how absolutely beautiful they made the Gulf of Space? Like, every time when they finally get that ship out, and even in the beginning sequence, they made space look crowded and pretty and colorful, and I like the tone that they chose for it. It was very cool.
Yeah, I definitely do love the art direction they did in the show. It's really, really, really good.
Yeah.
No, it's great. It's great. All right. Well, let's go to our ratings. What do you give this, Jason, on your ratings?
I give it a solid 3.5 out of 5. Yeah, it's not, it's not going to blow your mind away. So you're not going to be like, oh God, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. But, if you're a Star Trek fan, or if you want to introduce people to Star Trek, this is a pretty good place to hang your hat. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Jared?
I mean, I stand for Star Trek. So just based on episodes 1 and 2, I guess I got to give it, I don't know, 4.9 out of 5. Yeah, I mean,
Darren just can't go 5 out of 5 because we'll make fun of him. But
I can't.
Right. I mean, he did see
like-
Shang-Chi 3 times because he loves Marvel that much. So,
hey, the emergency Janeway didn't have her pips, which I thought was an important detail. And also, I didn't like that she didn't call herself an ECH or an emergency command hologram, which I thought would have been cool and a callback to what the doctor was doing.
The holodoc was ECH.
Yes.
all right. I'll give it a 3.5. I enjoyed it. I didn't think anything was really wrong with it. I'm more intrigued to see where it goes from here. So that alone piques my interest. I'm here for it.